All right, there we go. So, good afternoon, everybody. This is Brian with the Food Leadership Group. Once again, putting together a video on topics that I think are extremely relevant in the food industry, and I have the distinct pleasure of talking with Frank Yanis, Head of Quality Food Safety at Walmart. So, Frank, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. One of the things I want to dive in here right away because one of the things that's really caught my attention here recently is blockchain technology, and I saw you speaking at was it the Consumer Goods Forum, and
Correct.
they had put out a paper with IBM on this topic. And previously, for me, blockchain was Bitcoin and these type of things, but to see what's being discussed on blockchain technology was huge. So I wanted to spend a few minutes with you here today and pick your brain on blockchain technology and how it can help us in the food industry.
Sure. Great. Love to do that.
So kind of first off, I think kind of the impression of blockchain, and I've gone through the paper, and I'll make it available as a link with this as well, is Bitcoin and some type of thing where people can't take it, and then these type of stuff. But what is blockchain exactly?
Yeah, there's a lot of mystery over what blockchain is and what it's not. People generally associate it and first heard about it with Bitcoin. As you know, blockchain is an open source code that was used for Bitcoin, but it's evolved quite a bit since then. And so the blockchain that we're talking about today doesn't work on anonymity. And it's been upgraded by technology firms to get rid of concepts of anonymity and provide issues that are really important. It's a technology software that allows for what we call authenticity in the records. The records are immutable, so they're not changed easily. They're accurate and they're precise. And so a way to think about it is finally we have a digital ledger that can be shared with groups, business to business networks, allow people to see one version of the truth, to see it in a manner that we know is authentic, it can't be changed or falsified, and it can be done real rapidly in real time. And so that's basically what blockchain is. This idea of digitizing information isn't anything new. We've been doing this for a couple of decades now. But we do think the way blockchain technology digitizes information is different than other digitization platforms that have been used in the past. And so that's why we think it's so applicable to possibly solving issues around food traceability and food transparency.
Amazing. So yeah, I mean, I've worked in the food industry for a long time. So whenever recalls happen, that's one of the biggest things is trying to figure out where in the heck the food went. So from what I've seen from the presentation, this happens very, very quickly.
Yeah, so the way, food traceability works today, in our country, by legal definitions, we're only required to have one step up, one step back traceability. And if you take a complicated product like the one we did for our proof of concept here in the US, we did two proof of concepts, one in the United States and one in China. In the US, we selected sliced mangoes because we wanted to do it with produce. If you think about those mangoes, the way they're grown in small farmers, small plots in Central or South America. Those mangoes get shipped to a packing house. From the packing house, they'll cross the U.S. custom borders. They'll go to a processing facility in the U.S. where they'll get further processed, shipped to our distribution centers, and then our stores. It's a lot of layers back. And today, if we wanted to do a trace back, exercise or, find out where those mangoes came from, we'd have to go through a lot of records and generally paper systems to do that. We actually tried to do that here at Walmart. We asked our team, trace back these sliced mangoes to the source. And Brian, it took them 6 days, 18 hours, and 26 minutes to trace back those mangoes to the source. Using blockchain technology, we've tried to work with our tech partner, in this case, IBM, to simplify the way data is captured and captured in the blockchain. It can be as easy as a farmer having a smart device, putting data into the website if they have connection to Wi-Fi, or even as easy as if they have a food safety certification done at the farm, taking a picture of the certificate and uploading it into the blockchain. We're capturing information at every point in the food system, so we know where the food traveled, how it was produced, and in our proof of concept, in front of about 32 different media outlets during our shareholders week, we did a live demo. We took a package of the sliced mangoes, put in the batch number into the blockchain solution, and we're able to trace back those mangoes to the farm in 2.2 seconds. So we went from 7 days to 2.2 seconds. I like to say that's now food traceability at the speed of thought.
Yeah.
As fast as you can imagine the country of origin, the blockchain solution is allowing us to pinpoint it. But we're going beyond traceability because now we're capturing additional data attributes such as how the product was produced. So we're adding elements of transparency. And so it's a quantum leap, we believe, compared to the current systems that are being used widely today.
And then that data becomes unalterable. So within that system, nobody can go in and mess with that data, right?
That's correct. So that's another thing that we have confidence. We think eventually these type of digital and transparent solutions that are built on these premises of that they're immutable, they can't be altered, will lead to confidence in authenticity of the product as well as any records that are associated with it. Anybody that's worked in this profession for some time sometimes questions certificates that they see. Are these certificates authentic? Are they real? But with a blockchain solution, you can have confidence in that the records were uploaded, who uploaded them, and that those records cannot be changed.
Okay, so within that chain of information then that took place, Frank, relative to those mangoes, who can look at that information? Is it just the people that are members of that system along that, or can other people then access that information too?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Brian. So people often ask us, if I'm participating in one of these blockchain solutions in the food ecosystem, who owns the data? Mm-hmm. Anybody that inputs data into the blockchain, you own the data. It's your data, and you permission who you want to see it. And so if you're the farmer, it's your data. You permission who you want to see that data. If you're the processor, you own that data that you put into the system, you permission. And any data that the retailer would input, they would actually own that data. So it's your data, and you decide who you want to see it.
I see. So is data input, so I'm a little bit curious about the data input. So if you're a carrier and you're collecting data on reefer temperatures and things like that, and you have a system that automatically uploads that information, does that go in automatically, or does that information, is there some process where it has to be put into the blockchain?
Yeah, so that's another great question. The way the blockchain works today, data can be input using a variety of different methods. It can be as simple as I mentioned, taking a smart device and inputting data attributes, uploading it to the blockchain. You can take a digital image of a document and put it into the blockchain. The way the world is moving now with the Internet of Things and sensors and sensor prices coming down, you can have automated data capture, which I think is going to happen more and more. But there isn't one single way to get data into a blockchain solution.
Amazing. Yeah. So that's what I was surprised when I read the papers. Video and you name it. If it's something that can go in a computer, essentially it can go in the blockchain, right?
Yeah, correct.
Amazing. So, I mean, this has tremendous applications for traceability from our viewpoint as manufacturers and distributors and retailers. I imagine the consumers would be very interested in this data too. So if you were a consumer and you wanted to know, back to your mango example, where that was grown and that it's really organic and this type of stuff, that's something as a consumer you could use as well, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Our end game is that we think that providing this level of traceability and transparency is valuable to the customer. And so our end goal is to actually provide it to the customer at the item level. Mm-hmm. So a customer picks up a product at the store, they can know where that product came from and how it was produced. But I will tell you that we believe and we've seen that this blockchain solution adds value to all participants in the food system. So it's beneficial for the farmer in that we've all seen outbreaks in our careers where, all producers are guilty until proven innocent. Mm-hmm. And so imagine a blockchain solution that allows you to trace it back to the source quicker. You can clear your good name if you're not involved and pinpoint potentially contaminated product faster. So farmers will get benefit out of this. If you're a processor, our sliced mango supplier told us, hey, we have an interest in this and it adds value to us because oftentimes when we sell sliced mangoes to food service companies and retailers, we get accused if products don't make shelf life. But with a blockchain solution, and if you're capturing additional data attributes such as time and temperature, we know where the opportunities resided. And that might not always be the food processor that's at fault. Mm-hmm. Obviously, retailers think there's benefit in it. Consumers would find value in it. And regulatory officials have increasingly told us that they love the idea. If they're working on a traceback or an outbreak investigation, the value that it would bring to them. So we think one of the things that's unique about this blockchain pilot, Brian, is that it actually is bringing shared value to everyone that's participating in the ecosystem. And so it's no longer the day where you're a big retailer or food service company and you say, I want traceability information, put your information in my system. I'm the only one that really benefits from that. Mm-hmm. This system works a little bit more democratically.
Right. No, definitely. So, okay, you talked, the interesting piece that I had a question on as well too then was the regulatory piece, which you had touched on. What type of interaction has taken place so far with FDA or other agencies? Are they kind of participating like everyone else and viewing it like I am and learning about it?
Yeah, I will tell you the interest from the public sector in countries around the world is just intense. The public sector as well as the private sector see the potential use in this. Well, we literally have briefed FDA early on what we wanted to do with this. Now that we've closed the proof of concepts, we haven't gone back, but we'd like to share with them in a little bit more detail, and to any regulatory agencies for that matter that have an interest in the work we're doing. We think again that this work will actually add value to a lot of our public sector partners.
Definitely. Okay, so to kind of swing back around, and because we're just covering a ton of information here, so we've got this shared ledger. Anybody who has access to the data by permission can look at this data and see the process. You have, I've read about smart contracts then, so the different individuals within the system can sign up for this. You can put in a variety of different data, pictures, video, documents, automated information, everything else. That data goes in as a consensus. Once that data is in there, so I think the consensus piece, I need to learn a little bit more about this, operates like Bitcoin where you're locked into previous and prior information, I don't know if that's correct or not. And then you access that information through that system. Is that kind of, am I missing any key points with that, Frank? Or is that kind of
I think you're hitting all the key points on why a blockchain solution we think is important. I think the end game, the big picture idea, Brian, is that it's time for us to work together and create what I refer to as a 21st century digital and transparent food system. If you pause and look around, everything's getting digitized for valid reasons, the enhancements that come with going digital. But actually, it's time for us to do this with food. We need to move past doing all of these transactions on paper, in silos, and not sharing information. And if we do this, I'm absolutely convinced that it will be a safer, more efficient, and sustainable food system. And so we're excited about what's happening. We've now reached out after our proof of concepts, Brian, to other retailers and manufacturers, and we've gotten great interest. We've reached out to a group of peer companies that you would recognize, big brands. And we're going to continue to try to scale, pilot, grow, and learn, and ultimately do this for the benefit of the food system and for our customers.
Okay, so if I'm someone who's interested in finding more information on this, Frank, I'd mentioned the paper from IBM. Is there any other good sources you would recommend for people to look at?
Yeah, I think the paper that IBM published in concert or in partnership with the Consumer Goods Forum is a good one. It's available on their website. I love the idea of you starting off with a link, but I would say start off by reading that paper. There's a couple of good YouTube videos on the internet. You might want to look at those. And then reach out to folks that are actually working on it. And, people can reach out to us. We're happy to share what we've done. Reach out to the Consumer Goods Forum or IBM. And more importantly, reaching out, jump in and get involved. It's too important.
Oh, definitely. I totally agree. This is the wave of the future, and it's best to be in front of it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Frank. I really appreciate your time, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.